Afternoon, Sabrina.
Sorry.
Did you want to get started with anything before we launch?
Now take it away.
Okay, yeah.
Take it away.
All right, very good. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joe Delavara. It is open enrollment for your employee benefits, and I'm going to go through your medical as well as your ancillary options. Before I do, special thanks to Audra, Leslie, and Sabrina. You know, uh, there's a lot of kind of pre-work that goes into your open enrollment each and every year. Yet these meetings last about, 15, 20 minutes, typically on average, but it takes us hours to kind of get to this point, to kind of review what you guys have as well as other options. So with that, our role as your broker and consultant is one, trying to keep the plans affordable as possible. It's crazy, but inflation has not only affected the every day-to-day things that we see, gas and food and the cost of living, but also too the cost of healthcare continues to rise pretty rapidly. The other thing we help your company with is compliance and service. So after today, in the event that you guys get an EOB, an explanation of benefits in the mail, that just doesn't make sense to you, reach out to us, because that's we have a full service concierge program, and we want to make sure that you guys are well serviced, and nothing more frustrating than dealing with insurance carriers. Trust me, it's kind of a love-hate relationship with all of them. They all make mistakes, and sometimes it's something as simple as they don't have your ID card number right, they don't have your social, or something to that effect. So again, if you guys run anything like that, please reach out to our office. We're happy to help with that. This year we did receive an increase, and we did a very extensive out to bid campaign. So we shopped the known universe of carriers for you guys, and found that your current offerings through EMI, through healthcare pool that we manage, is still the most competitive offering. So with that, I'm going to walk through the plans that we're offering today, and there's been literally no changes at all. So for some of you, this might just be kind of a repeat. So I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet here real quick. And I think sometimes reviewing the spreadsheet's a lot more simpler than going through uh, all your benefit material. So you guys also have received, and you guys received new updated booklets, medical booklets that kind of go through these plans in great detail. Again, I don't want to go down that granular detail, but kind of want to hit on a high level. You guys are continuing to offer two plans, a $7,500 deductible and a $6,500 deductible. And I'll kind of walk through starting kind of middle of the spreadsheet right here where it says primary care copay. Before I do, I just want to point out a couple things that these plans have in common. One is they both share the same network of doctors and hospitals, and that's Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Arizona, which includes the Mayo Clinic. So that's if you are located here in Arizona. If you are in California, you will use the First Health Network. Second, what these plans also share in common is that they both have free wellness. That's well woman, well man, well child for those that are enrolled. That's covered 100%. There is no copay. And any prescription that your doctor determines that you need following that wellness exam is also too covered at 100%. Third, and finally, the thing that these plans both have in common is telemedicine benefit. I like to say that's like, FaceTiming your doctor. If none of you have used it, I encourage you to consider it in the future, because it is the most convenient thing to do. Recently, I set an appointment to get into my doctor and went to the doctor's office. I was in their waiting room for almost 40 minutes, went and saw the doctor for 15. It was an hour and a half plus, went down, got antibiotics, and it's talking a 2 hour window where many times you can do this on the phone, and it's really quick, it's efficient, it's free, and it's unlimited. So for a lot of the minor things that you guys have, flus, colds, upset stomach, things like that, use telemedicine benefit. It's a great benefit. Again, it's free. So coming back here to the middle of the spreadsheet, primary care copay. Again, that's you're seeing your general doctor for flu, cold, or you have something going on with your knee or shoulder. It's a $50 copay. Everything done in his office or her office falls under that global cost. If you are referred to a specialist, let's say that you went in for knee pain and your doctor says you need to go to an orthopedic, that's where you're going to spend that $100 specialist copay. On the $6,500 plan, you can see the copay is a little bit lower. That's $40.75. Both plans do have an emergency room copay of $500. It is super expensive. I like to say the treatment tree, if you will, is telemedicine. If you can do it, it's something minor. Two, if you can set an appointment with a primary or specialist doctor. And then finally, urgent care. Urgent care, again, many urgent cares open 24/7. It's going to cost you a little bit more to do that, but I encourage you to kind of go that route. And then last but not least is ER. And I like to say emergency room is potential loss of life, loss of limb, loss of eyesight, loss of a limb, anything along those lines, significant loss of blood, get into the nearest emergency room. You don't have to worry about, is this ER in or out of network? Every emergency room is covered. So get there and get treatment. Down the very bottom is your retail or pharmacy benefit. With the $7,500 plan, you do have a $500 deductible, and then it goes to copay. On the $6,500 plan, it goes straight to copay or a percentage of the benefit. So something new this year is EMI has partnered with GoodRx. I don't know if anybody's familiar with GoodRx, but it's a free app that you can download on your phone, and you basically type in the prescription that your doctor has recommended that you get filled, and it'll tell you where to go to get that prescription filled for the least amount of money. You don't have to worry about downloading that app anymore because, again, EMI has partnered with GoodRx. So anytime you're at the counter at a CVS or a Walgreens or wherever you're at getting your prescription filled, it will automatically give you the GoodRx price. So that's a great way to save some money, especially today, because, gosh, prescriptions are very, very pricey. Again, I encourage everybody, when you can, to try to fill your prescription a generic. So if you're in the doctor and he or she writes you a script, ask if it comes in a generic format. It'll save you a lot of money. But again, that's something new this year that GoodRx is doing that's embedded into your plan. Going back up to the top of the plans, and by the way, let me stop right here. Any questions thus so far on some of those primary components of your plans? Nope. All right. Very good. Going back up to the top, deductibles. Deductibles come into play on, well, the obvious. One is you're admitted in the hospital. You're there to deliver a baby. You're there to get a surgery. You're going to have an outpatient procedure, a knee scope, a shoulder scope, something along those lines. The other kind of weird places that deductible comes into play is anytime they put a band on your wrist. And many times that's to have an MRI or a CAT scan, because those are generally not done in a doctor's office. They're typically done in some sort of scanning or imaging facility. The third place that we see dollars that get spent towards deductible are using, let's say you're at your dermatologist and your dermatologist says, you know what, I want to get a biopsy of a mole. The minute they break out that scalpel, that's deemed a surgical procedure, and that procedure, those dollars spent will go towards your deductible. So those are kind of the three kind of examples or places where you're going to spend money towards your deductible. In a worst case situation, you got to spend up to $7,500 before the plan goes 100%. So you'll see an individual deductible, then an out-of-pocket max of $8,000. So you have a 100% coinsurance plan, which is kind of a dinosaur, guys. You have a really rich plan. Yes, you do have a high deductible plan, but once you hit your out-of-pocket max, the plan goes 100%. Both your deductible and your out-of-pocket max are charted on a calendar year basis. So it goes January 1st through December 31st, and it resets itself each and every year. The $6,500 deductible plan, again, the structure, the timing of the deductible, everything's exactly the same. It's just a little bit lower. For those that have family members on your plan, what is a family deductible? What is a family out-of-pocket max? Well, let's say you have a real bad year, and several years ago when we were in the COVID era, seems like forever ago, but there were families that were hitting family deductible and family out-of-pocket maxes. And so an example would be is if you have two or more in your family, they globalize your deductible and coinsurance spend all together. So it's not like each person would be siloed an individual deductible as well as an individual out-of-pocket max, but rather they wrap it all together for two or more. So two or more would have to have a $15,000 family deductible, and the out-of-pocket max would be $16,000 and $7,500. And then again, the plan would go 100%. And that's in the event that you just have a bad year. A couple of you had surgeries, somebody's been in the hospital for COVID, whatever the situation might be. So again, that's just there to kind of cap your out-of-pocket expenses. Down the bottom are your per employee payroll costs. Keep in mind that these costs are pre-tax. And so what does that mean? Well, these deductions come out prior to taxes being taken out. So if you're kind of eyeballing it and saying, well, if I participate in the 7,500, it's going to cost me about $110 difference. It's actually a little bit less than that. I would count on about 20% less. So it's going to, somewhere in that 80 some dollar range is about how it'll affect your check. Then you can see, of course, if you add your spouse, children, or family. So if you buy up to the $6,500 plan, you're basically going to pay the difference here. So I encourage you all to kind of think about your health. Are you in kind of that family planning stage? Do you have an upcoming surgery, things of that sort? That might be where the $6,500 deductible kind of comes into play. But quite honestly, for all of you guys are all a bunch of young puppies and in good health, of course, working at Orange Theory. I would encourage you all to seriously look at that $7,500 deductible. Even though the deductible is high, the structure of the plan with copays is really, really good plan with a great network attached to it. So I'll pause there just temporarily. Any questions thus far?
Yeah, I think I do. So real quick, the 7,500, you said it's 110, but it's really only 80. Did I mishear that? Or am I,
Yeah.
Why is that? What's the reason
Right.
of the discount from what I'm seeing here?
And the reason why is because that's a pre-tax deduction. So that'll come out before any taxes are taken out. So they're going to take out that $110 prior to any taxes being taken out. So it lowers your taxable amount by about 20%. So that I'm saying that approximately that 110 on the bottom of your paycheck will look like about $85, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay, and then the 147, why doesn't it apply to that? Because you said it would be the difference, or it does apply to that one too? They're both the same.
Same thing. That 147
gotcha.
be 20% less. It doesn't matter how you're enrolling, whether you're on the 75 or 65, or whether you have a spouse, child, or full family. It's all going to be 20% less than what you're seeing here.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep, and that's just because it's a pre-tax deduction, guys. Yep, and it's medical insurance is allowed to be pre-tax, and that'll come out on your paycheck like that. Yep. Any questions on that before we slide on to the principal stuff? Nope. Before we do, I just want to make note, this is open enrollment. And so this is your opportunity to make changes. Some of you might be newly eligible. So this is your first opportunity to, enroll in the plan or plans. And then finally, you can enroll outside of this open enrollment window. However, it must be due to a qualifying event. And a qualifying event looks like you got married, you're having a baby, things that aren't so great, you're getting a divorce, you had a death in the family. Those things too qualify, or you lost coverage. Let's say that your spouse or significant other had coverage through their employer or on the exchange, they lost coverage. You'd be allowed to come on this plan outside of the open enrollment window. But those are the only exceptions in the qualifying event that will allow you to get on the plan outside of this open enrollment window. If you don't have one of those qualifying events, you'll have to wait again till this time next year to get on the plan. So I just like to share that. I think it's important for everybody to kind of know that. All right, well, I'm going to move on here to the principal stuff. Bear with me. All right, can everybody see that? Your dental benefits? Awesome, very good. You guys have a host of other benefits that are offered through Principal. And Principal is a great provider. Doesn't matter whether you're in California, Arizona, or any other state. Principal is a nationwide carrier, so you shouldn't have any difficulty finding a provider. I'm not going to go through every detail here, but I wanted to highlight these main benefits. You guys also have open enrollment materials on this dental plan. Get there, scroll on down. Computer is being real lazy today. All right. You guys have what I refer to as an indemnity dental program. It's a 180/50 plan, meaning that they cover 100% of preventative, and that would be like your doctor's office visits, cleanings, 80% of basic services, that would be like a filling or an extraction, and major services like bridges, dentures, inlays, crowns, all that not so fun stuff, and then orthodontia. For basic and major, you have a $50 calendar year deductible. And then after that, they either pay 80% on basic services and 50% for major. When it comes to orthodontia, you get a discount of basically $1,000. With your other preventative, basic, and major services, you have $1,500 in the calendar year to use. And once you exceed that, then the balance, anything over and above that, becomes your responsibility. I recommend for anybody that's currently on the dental plan today that has any unused benefit and needs to get some work done, guys, go out and get it done now before the end of the year, because starting January 1st, you get a refresh of your $1,500 and you can start all over. If you straddle the year, you can literally have $3,000 worth of work done in a pretty small window. Any questions on the dental plan there? Nope. All right. Moving into, I think vision is next here. I'm not making you all dizzy here. There we go. Vision plan is with VSP. VSP is the country's largest vision provider. So, oh my goodness, everybody takes VSP. LensCrafters, EyeMasters, Target, Costco, you name it. You're allowed to get an exam once a year, and it's a $10 copay. You have a $150 allowance, and that $150 allowance is applied to one of two ways, either to get new glasses or to apply towards contacts. And you can do that every 2 years. And with this allowance, if you decide to start kind of putting everything a la carte, because many times when you get to a lot of these eye places, they want to say, well, do you want polycarbonate lenses? Do you want, extra light frames, et cetera, et cetera? Know that if you go over and above that $150 allowance, you will receive a discount on anything over and above that. But keep that in mind when you're kind of shopping around for mainly on the glasses side. When it comes to contacts, that's pretty straightforward. So again, that's with VSP, you have a $150 allowance, and you can get your exam done every year. Questions on that? Nope. Okay. I'm going to move in here to your life insurance benefits. Everybody in the company has a life insurance benefit that's included, and I highly encourage everybody to update your beneficiary information. I think I mentioned this last year, but it seems like it happens sadly, every 5 to 10 years. We get a call from somebody who says, hey, somebody passed away in our organization, and we have an old beneficiary on file, and it goes to an ex-spouse. So make sure that you update your beneficiary information, and that's held at the company level. So Sabrina, if you have a beneficiary form and you've had a change and you want to update your beneficiary, make sure you get that to Sabrina, because when somebody passes, that's the first thing we do is we ask HR, can you provide us with the latest beneficiary form that you have on file? Otherwise, we revert to what we have on file. So keep that current. Again, it's a $15,000 benefit in the event that you pass in an accident or due to sickness. Accident benefits. This is one of my favorite benefits, and especially for you guys. You guys are so active, probably out hiking and biking and all that fun stuff, especially here in Arizona. Now the weather has finally gotten a lot better. But I like to say that accident insurance is kind of like Aflac. You see those silly Aflac commercials, but it covers things that the health insurance doesn't. In your enrollment packet, they give you how accident insurance works, but they have an example here of Sam, who's on the weekend, plays on a rugby team, gets hurt. Many times when you go to the emergency room, or if you get stitches or you have a concussion, you're going to have dollars that you're spending out of pocket that you don't get reimbursed for. And that's how the accident plan is intended to work. It covers all those things that the health insurance doesn't. And just to kind of give you an example, there's a schedule here, an example of some of the things that qualify for reimbursement. It can be a burn. It can be due to a concussion. You can start adding all this stuff up. You dislocated a knee, you're out mountain biking, or a hip or something like that. It's super expensive because many times when you go to the emergency room or you're admitted in the hospital, you're going to spend up to that deductible. Well, a lot of this stuff can go to help reimburse you for those expenses. You get a fracture. I've literally seen tens of thousands of dollars paid out in this accident benefit, and it's very, very affordable. So I'll get into the rate sheet right down here. It's on the last page. Where to go? There we go. So you can say for $20 employee only, you can have accident coverage. So I encourage you guys to look at all those benefits. There is an enrollment form that Principal has, and Sabrina has a copy of it. You can literally just put your information on there, check the box. If you haven't been enrolled in one of these products, you can, now is the open enrollment period for you to do that. So you have 2 enrollment forms for those that are currently on the plan, one with EMI to apply for medical, and the second is for Principal for all these products that I just went through. With that, any questions on the Principal stuff or any benefit questions in general?
Just to note, so everybody knows, the price he just showed, that's the $20 for an employee. That's for the month. So
Right, yeah.
It's per pay period. It's less than $10 for that. So just so you have that in mind.
Yep. And honestly, guys, that's one of my favorite benefits. It's just, I'm in the insurance business, and my son, he jacked up his knee one time when we were up north, and we went to the ER to get some stitches on a knee. It was like $2,000. I couldn't believe it. And, literally would have paid for all my premium, lifetime of premium, and then some, and got reimbursed for the deductible expense. So something to consider. Mm-hmm. So that's all I have for you, unless you all have any questions. And if anything comes to you after today's meeting, certainly Sabrina has her contact info. I'm happy to jump on the call and answer any questions you guys might have, anything personal in nature. But we thank you for your business. You guys have been a long-time client. We appreciate it. And that's it, Sabrina, unless you have anything else to add.
Just I know there's some managers on here. Just to note, to qualify for health insurance and any of the insurance with us, our staff must be full-time. So for coaches, that means 15 classes a week minimum. And for front desk, minimum 35 hours per week. So just so you guys are aware of how that standard is set.
Great, thank you.
Yep. Well, I thank you all. I appreciate your time today. You guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys again soon.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks,
Thanks,
Merry
guys.
Christmas. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Bye.